So last week, Insta360 announced that they are releasing a new camera only a few days away. And we all know it's going to be the Ace Pro 2. In this video, I just want to talk about what that means for the average vlogger, the average YouTuber, the average content creator, the ones that aren't going to be jumping out of planes, people who aren't going to be rappelling off a cliff edge or going deep sea diving or doing a lot of action videos in the surf. What does that actually mean, and how relevant, how important, how interesting this new camera is going to be? I can only speak from my personal experience, and I have found that over the last couple of years when I've been seriously creating content for this channel and for other social medias, that I've gone through a lot of cameras, I've gone through a lot of gear to finally settle upon the type of cameras that I think are useful for me and that is going to help me make the best content that I can possibly make for you guys in as simple and most efficient way as possible. I've got all the big rigs. I've got like Sony FX cameras, I've got Sony A7R3s and stuff like that. I've got big cameras, you know, the ones where with interchangeable lenses where you can get so many different options. I've got lighting, I've got big gimbals and all kinds of stuff like that. But for my purpose, most of these things ended up sitting in the cupboard because truthfully, I don't use them. I don't take them out because they're too heavy. They're too cumbersome, and for the type of videos I make, I don't want to attract a lot of attention by having this massive Canon that I'm holding out. So I've kind of stumbled upon a little combination of cameras that I like to use for most of my daily use, and I'm just firstly going to go through them. So right here I'm filming on the DJI Osmo Pocket 3. This is a great camera. It has a built-in gimbal. It attaches to this DJI wireless mic, and the sound is great. Everything's great with this camera. There are a couple of things that people may or may not like, and that's pretty much in terms of the build, because it is a gimbal, built-in gimbal camera, that it's not going to tolerate a lot of harsh conditions. So you don't want to be throwing this thing around. There is no swappable battery. So once you're out unless you've got a battery bank or something like that. Kind of that's the two major things that I've had issues with this camera. And they're not even issues. They're just things that I'm aware of. And I know that there are certain circumstances, certain places, certain situations that I wouldn't be using this camera. So I've got a couple of others. So I just want to show you the other cameras I use. This here is another camera made by Insta360, and this is the X4. So this is a 360 camera. It shoots 4K just like the Osmo Pocket 3. And the great thing about this is, like I said, it shoots 360. So what that means is that when you take footage, you don't really even have to aim this at somebody because you've got 360-degree view and you basically just edit it in post. It's a little bit more of a tricky editing in post, in my opinion, and I find it a little bit more kind of finicky when I'm trying to edit videos, and I don't think that I'm using this camera anywhere near to its full capability. The good thing is this is super waterproof. This is going to tolerate a lot of bashing around, and this is something that I've had. And although I don't use it very often, it does come in handy, especially when you're outdoors doing beach scenes and stuff like that. I really like this camera. The next camera that I use is this little thing. Now, even though it says GoPro on the handle, it's not a GoPro. It's another Insta360, and this is the Go3S. Now, the beauty about this camera is that it's really small, and when you take it away from the magnetic mount, it's super tiny. It has a flip-up screen, so it's great for selfies in terms of doing video on yourself, i.e. vlogging. And the other thing is it comes with a little camera that is detachable, and that goes everywhere. That's waterproof. This isn't. I've been using this in different scenarios, and good thing about this is it's very inconspicuous, especially if you get the black one as opposed to the white one. And now it's raining, but that's cool, and that's what content creators do. We make videos when it rains. This is super cool. The disadvantage is that there is no external storage. So whatever you get is in there, and you actually just have to offload the stuff. And like I said, the module here is not waterproof, but the camera itself is. And it shoots 4K, and the image quality is great, and it fits all the GoPro accessories with the appropriate mount. So you can use any of the GoPro stuff as well, so you're not limited to Insta360. And I love this little camera, and I have this with me everywhere. And finally, last but not least, the old trusty iPhone. Now, the argument could be that you could actually do everything or almost everything that you do in the other three cameras with this phone. It has really good cameras on this phone. This is the iPhone 16, and as the generations progress, the cameras just get better and better, and there's literally nothing you can't do with the other cameras that you can do this one. This one is still moderately waterproof, so you can do a little bit, but certainly it's not going to be as rugged as like the Insta360 X4 or a GoPro or something like that. But pretty much you can do everything. Again, there is no expandable storage, but this is a 1 terabyte phone and you're not going to run out of storage shooting it for the day. The thing about it is that the battery life, if you're going to use the phone as a continuous video shooter, you may run into trouble with that during the course of the day, and that's not awesome. And that's why I don't shoot exclusively with the iPhone. I don't like the front-facing camera. Just don't think it's as good quality as it could be. And that's why in past videos I've been talking about things like the foldable Samsung Galaxy Flip Z6 or whatever. And the good thing about foldable phones is that you can actually flip the phone so the rear camera becomes the front camera and you can still see yourself. And the benefit of that is you're using the best camera on your phone. I've just moved myself out of the rain a little bit. But as I was saying, the good thing about using a foldable Samsung, for example, is you're using the best camera on the phone as your main camera, and you're not relying on the front-facing camera, which is clearly, this tiny thing there, not as good as the giant thing in the back. So as a vlogger, as a non-action vlogger, this is what I am. I am very happy with the combination of these 1, 2, 3, 4 cameras. Again, I want to just repeat, I don't feel like that unless it's a really special occasion, and I don't even know that I would take one of the big cameras if I go on vacation because they're just too cumbersome. I don't want to carry a giant camera around. Like if you're going to go to a restaurant or if you're just going to a theme park or something like that, I just don't want to have this massive 3 or 4 kilo thing that I have to carry around all day, because I don't feel that the trade-off in terms of the image quality is going to be that much better. That's going to warrant or merit me carrying such a big, expensive, heavy thing, which is more likely to break, which is more expensive, and is so more conspicuous that a lot of people aren't going to be happy that you're sticking a big fat camera in the face. So now let's get to the final part of this video, and that's the juicy bit. This is the bit I'm really looking forward to talking about. What is going to be in the Ace Pro 2 that's going to make you want to buy it? Whether you have the cameras that I already described already, or whether you're a newbie and you just want to find your first vlogging camera. Well, here's the thing. All the cameras that I've shown you today up to this point are capable of shooting 4K. All of them have very good video quality, except during low light, because low light is the bane of any camera, whether it's a phone, whether it's an action camera. It's the bane of any camera with a small sensor, because small sensors mean less light. That means you're going to have worse resolution when it's dark. It's going to be grainy, and if you do a lot of night stuff, that could be an issue for you. Is the Ace Pro 2 going to deliver on that? Is the Ace Pro 2 going to give you better low light quality? I don't know. That would be one of the reasons why I would consider the Ace Pro 2. The other things is, do you want waterproof? I'm pretty sure the Ace Pro 2 is going to be like a GoPro in that it's going to be pretty waterproof. It's going to be somewhere you can take in terms of action stuff. If you do a lot of action stuff, if you like to go to the beach, if you want to go shoot in the rain, this DJI Osmo Pocket 3 is not your camera. And the Ace Pro 2 in fact would be. The recent release of the Osmo Action 5 shows that it is possible for cameras that small to have some built-in storage. I don't know whether the Ace Pro 2 is going to have that. That would be a bonus. GoPro Hero 13, I think it's 13, has now come with the ability to have interchangeable lenses. Again, I don't know whether the Ace Pro 2 is going to do that. I don't think that's a deal breaker either way. I've never thought of any need on an action camera to change lenses, but some people might want to do that. They might want to put ND filters on, for example, but it's not something I want to do. Battery life, super important. The DJI Osmo Action 5 has got like 4 hours of battery life, and that's actually unheard of. It's going to be better than every camera that you've seen so far. Yes, apart from this Osmo Pocket 3 and the iPhone, all the other cameras you can swap out the batteries. So if you've got the ability to pay for and charge new batteries, that shouldn't be a major issue. But if you've got a camera that has a long battery anyway, that doesn't overheat, that's the other thing, is as long as it doesn't overheat when you shoot, that's another consideration which was going to be a positive if the Ace Pro 2 is able to deliver that. All this stuff about color grading and stuff, a lot of people will find that useful. For newbies, novices, I don't think it's going to be a big deal. A lot of people will be editing with CapCut and iMovie and stuff, but if you start using Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve, maybe. Whether it's a deal breaker, that's up to you. Price-wise, you're going to look at, I think in Australia, I'm assuming probably somewhere around $600, $700, $800, $900, depending on whether you just get the basic kit or whether it comes with like a creator combo or an action combo or something like that. All that means is it's either going to come with some extra batteries, it might come with a tripod stick thing, and whether you want to get all those accessories, that's also up to you. So in my opinion, what's coming out next week that's going to make me want to upgrade one of my pieces of gear to yet another camera, or what's going to entice someone who doesn't have any of these cameras to buy this one, I think comes down to this: price point, battery life, storage, the ability to shoot 4K without it overheating, waterproofness, the ability to perform well in low light, and the ease of getting the videos off, and whether you want to do it in the Insta360 app or whether you just want to put it onto another video editing software, how easy it is to do that, and just basic overall coolness of the camera. I'm pretty sure the Ace Pro 2 is going to have a flip screen just like the Ace Pro 1 and the Go3S, and I think that's going to be a really useful bonus for vloggers because you need to see yourself when you make the video. But apart from that, apart from all the high-end stuff that most people won't need, I mean, 4K at this point is adequate. If it has 8K video and all this kind of stuff, if it shoots 4K 120 for slow motion, a lot of people won't think of that as a deal maker or a deal breaker, but all these things are nice to have. It just really depends on what sort of package Insta360 manages to come up with and whether it's going to be enough to entice you depending on the price point which they set. One thing to bear in mind, and this is really important, for some reason it happens a lot with Insta360, is if you're not sure and you're waiting for some of the YouTubers to do a product review prior to you making a decision as to whether you're going to buy this camera, one thing you need to do is to just check in the little corner of the video somewhere just to make sure it's not a sponsored video, because there's a lot of incentive for people to say how good this video is if Insta360 or another camera brand for that matter, if they actually send you the camera free of charge for you to make a review. So take the reviews with a grain of salt, especially when it says there is sponsored content in this video. My videos are not sponsored because I like them to be sponsored, but right now they're not. And you're more likely to hear the truth from someone who's not been given a camera for free or been given some sort of kickback by making this video. So I think I'm going to end this video here because I'm getting wet. Even though I'm sitting under shelter, I'm getting wet. Whether you want to buy the Insta360 Ace Pro 2 is entirely up to you. Don't let anyone persuade or dissuade you from making the right decision for you. One other thing that I haven't mentioned is the ability to connect an external mic to the camera. Audio is half the battle. So if you get good video with the 4K and everything's looking good, if the audio sounds crap, and I don't really know how good this is going to sound considering it's bucketing right next to me. Hopefully it'll be good with the DJI wireless mic. If you're into having good audio and if you do a lot of talking head videos, you may want to make sure that these cameras that you buy have the ability to attach an external wireless microphone, because, for example, this thing here, the Go3S, is not capable of doing that. So that's just another thing to think about. So there is a lot of stuff to think about, but ultimately, with all the new high-end cameras, you pretty much can't go wrong. If there's a specific thing or a feature that you want, it may persuade you to buy one camera over one of the other ones, but otherwise you really can't go wrong. The thing about it is, instead of focusing on all the features and what the numbers mean and all that stuff, the important thing with any camera, with any piece of tech, is actually go out and enjoy it. Make videos, make content, enjoy doing what you're doing. And every new camera these days is going to be more than capable of delivering 99% of your needs, and I think that's a pretty reasonable outcome in any case. So thank you for watching. Leave a comment below if you're planning to buy the Ace Pro 2 or a reason why you don't want to buy the Ace Pro 2, and I'll see you next time in another video. Later.